What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and today I have a showcase for Mihawk and Perona. I'm sure many of you people out there would be very interested as to how I got my hands on this character, so I'll leave a tweet that I posted up on the screen right now. But yes, I did do the 30 gem multi on part 2, and actually got this character. It was the most absurd thing ever, was totally not expecting it, but OFFSCREENSKII strikes again. So I thought, you know, we got the new character, let's go ahead and showcase them and just talk about them and see what they're all about. So Mihawk and Perona are definitely the better of the two brand new characters, with, you know, this character of course, and V3 Rayleigh. This character is going to see a lot of play moving forward, maybe not as a captain, but definitely as a sub on a lot of different teams. They have a very, very useful effect that we'll go through right now. So this character, in their dual form, is a strength or psi unit and is cerebral driven. Their captain effect is a strength and psi 4 times boost, but 4.5 if they have a colored orb, which is very, very good, and then boost their health by 1.3, makes all their type slots matching, and then also reduces the chances of recovery in tandem slots appearing. So that's a very important effect where they want you to get type slots. They don't want you to have any other type of orb. So it's a very interesting style of play with this character. Now, each of their individual captain effects are very similar in a way. They are both strength and psi boosting effects. Mihawk gives you a 3.5 boost if you have a type slot, 3 times otherwise, and then again has the ability to make give you the health boost of 1.3, and then strength slots are matching for psi characters, and then once again reduces the chances of landing recovery tandem. And then alternatively with Perona, she is a 3.25 flat boost for strength and psi, and then for strength characters, their psi slots are going to be counted as matching instead. And now, in talking about their switch effect, which is the most interesting part of this unit, they get their own orbits change into matching, which is very, very good. Then they heal 1,500 health, so obviously with two, you know, Mihawk and Peronas, you're healing 3,000, 4,000 with auto healing, exceptional. And then also gives all enemies the negative status, which is a brand new debuff in the game, and it will go ahead and state that when an enemy is inflicted with this status, their attack and defense is reduced by 20%, which isn't a very big boost, but remember, because their attack is being reduced, it means that you take less damage if they attack you, so it's a perfectly good effect. And then also reducing their defense, that doesn't matter too much. Reducing defense by 20% basically means nothing, but it's nice to have anyway, because when you have the ability of their special, it cuts all enemies' HP by 20%, changes block orbs into matching, and then gives you a 2 times conditional boost against enemies with the negative status for 1 turn, and then obviously combined for the dual unit for 3 turns. So there's lots of really interesting effects here. The only thing is that the negative debuff can basically be inflicted at any point in time, unless if the enemy has full immunity buff. However, if you guys read a little earlier there, if there are 2 or more enemies on the enemy side of the field, it goes through all debuff protection. So again, this is very good. The only time this will not activate is if there is 1 enemy with full immunity. So that happens a lot back in the day, but, you know, in more recent content, that actually isn't that applicable, which is very interesting. And of course, as a sub, this will still activate because it's a switch effect. It's amazing, right? So as I said, moving forward, this character is definitely going to see more play as a sub, enabling you to get lots of healing, applying a very unique debuff, as well as getting a self-proccing conditional boost with their special as well. Very powerful special ability. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the showcase of Mihawk and Perona. So getting into this showcase video, first of all, we're up against Clash Jinbei, which is, of course, going to be a little bit easier because this particular SugoFest exclusive debuted alongside this brand new Clash event against Jinbei. So, of course, I wanted to build a team for you guys that's able to beat it. Now, for this team specifically, we do have the new Heracles and the new Ivankov on the team. Both have amazing utility effects that are able to get through this dungeon, as well as having Heracles for an orb boosting effect is actually just kind of good. We've also got the Kobe and Helmeppo unit to give our Psi characters an attack boost, as well as removing the threshold on stage 5. And then we also have the legend Stampede Luffy. He's just a really great unit here because you can use his special ability to wave clear this stage here, stage 3 with Sachi Penguin. And the really cool thing about Luffy on the team is the fact that he can have the support ability of version 1 Rayleigh, which means that we can completely avoid the bind effect that will be inflicted to us on stage 5, which is the main reason why I use Stampede Luffy here. Previously, I did try out a team that had Treasure Map NL, but then I completely forgot that there was bind on stage 5. So, like, a really good way to get around it is by using support effects, man. Support effects have become so useful in this game right now, and in some instances against certain content, like support effects are actually required to clear it for certain teams. That is, you know, obviously you don't need support effects to clear anything, but for certain teams to clear it, you will need some certain support effects. And it's just going to show that, you know, support effects right now are probably some of the most important effects in the game, and it's going to continue to be like that. Support effects are just ridiculously useful, giving you so many beneficial effects along the way, as well as increasing your team's statistics, of course, which means that your teams can do more damage, which in some instances can actually make the difference between you clearing a dungeon and you not clearing it. So very, very important. Speaking of support abilities, I did actually mention this in my OPTC how-to video with Mihawk and Perona, and two of the characters that I mentioned for supports that are very good for this brand new Sugo Fest exclusive, I am actually using in this video. I don't remember where exactly, but I am using Legend Zoro version 1, because he's got a really good support effect that can give you a 2.5 times chain lock whenever you use that character special, so that's very nice, and it lasts for 2 turns, so you can actually use it to not only give you more damage on the turn you activate your special with Mihawk and Perona, but if the enemy on, let's say, on the stage after gives you a really bad chain locking effect, you can actually use that to avoid it, which is really, really good. So that's something to look forward to if you do have Mihawk and Perona and you do have version 1 Zoro, which I'm sure many of you guys out there would probably have version 1 Zoro at this point. Not a really good legend, unfortunately. He's definitely going to be more useful as a support character compared to him being used as a sub these days. And the other really good support effect for Mihawk and Perona that I'm going to be using in this video is going to be Sai Rare Recruit Kuma, because whenever we are inflicted with despair, he just removes 5 turns of it, which is exceptional. And I think this specific clip here, coming up right now against Coliseum Komurasaki, is exactly where we use it, because on stage 4, it's going to be against the mini-boss Orobi, and she despairs us for 8 turns. So with sockets, it goes down to 5 turns, and then with the support effect of Kuma, we just completely resist it. Now, of course, we are using the friend captain here of Shanks' crew, and if you go and look at many other different teams that are able to clear Coliseum Komurasaki, most teams that aren't Shanks' crew are using Shanks' crew as a friend captain, just because he removes a lot of different debuffs on this stage. So I don't really think it's a real cop-out using Shanks' crew as a friend captain here, considering most teams use Shanks' crew as a friend captain for this dungeon, just because he just gets around basically everything here, which is great. But it just goes to show that this character can hybrid with some of the best legends in the game. Douglas Bullet, for example, if you're running like a full strength team, you could run something like that too. Or if you are running in this circumstance here with Shanks' crew as a friend captain, is great, because not only do you get that really cool switch effect where you get the attack boost every single turn, but you also get his amazing captain ability that is able to give you the end of turn damage when they're in their dual form for additional damage, as well as removing special bind by 10 turns. So just completely avoiding the fact that you will need to bring a special bind remover. If you bring Shanks' crew as a friend, it's not going to be that big of a problem. But remember that when Shanks' crew switch into their blue form, that they're not going to be boosted at all by the Mihawk and Perona captain, so make sure to keep that into consideration. But speaking more about this team with Coliseum Komurasaki, we do have the Smoker and the Toshigi unit to help us get a couple more matching orbs on this stage against Orobi, because you can't use an attack or an orb booster on this stage, which is a real big downside. Otherwise, I would run someone like Cat Dog or something else, which can give us a huge boost on the following turn. But on this team as well, we also have access to Montador for his amazing utility and color affinity for Strength and Psi. Very, very good unit. And then we also have Edward Weevil to remove attack down and then apply an attack boost. Another really cool thing here specifically, and why Mihawk Perona, again, are just so freaking powerful, is in this circumstance here, where typically you wouldn't be able to get a conditional boost off, but because we have access to Mihawk and Perona's switch effect, plus their special ability, we are able to do so, because there are 2 or more enemies on the enemy side of the field, and even though they have full immunity buff, the switch effect will still inflict the negative debuff to them, enabling us to get the 2 times conditional boost. So again, this is going to be one of the reasons why this character is going to be so great moving forward, and not only as a captain, but more predominantly as a sub. And the great thing about this character is that every single form they're in, whether it be Mihawk, Perona, or in their dual form, they're always going to be a Cerebral character. So again, it's crazy how they just keep buffing the Cerebral class for like no reason, dude. I don't understand it. I don't understand how we have so many months of amazing Cerebral legends, and we still have the Shooter class, which is basically untouched for various months in a row. I don't get it. I really hope the Shooter class gets some sort of massive change / buff in the future. Even the Driven class needs some sort of buff. I mean, this character is also a Driven character, which is cool too, right? But you know, the Driven class specifically needs a little bit of a buff. I mean, Capone 6+ just arrived on JP. He's a pretty good support unit for the Driven class with his Big Father effect and being a self-attack booster for the Driven class and having a Driven Captain effect. So, you know, there is a little bit going on, but obviously not too much overall. But so the Cerebral class is just absolutely busted. Cerebral, Powerhouse, Free Spirit, those classes in particular, absolutely godly right now on One Piece Treasure Cruise. So the next clip right here is against Coliseum Hody Jones. This was a little bit tricky to try and figure out a team that was able to do it, but I was actually able to do it on my first go, which is kind of cool. But this team does have a lot of really cool support effects once again. We do have the Zora support on this team, on Mihawk and Perona. We also have the 3-day 2-year Frankie support, which is on the Usopp to help reduce the enemy's defense, also to get a guaranteed matching slot on himself. And then we also had 20th anniversary Sanji on the Nami character so that we get rid of the poison effect that was going to be inflicted on us on stage 3 against Hyozo, because the thing about it is that when you reach the final boss stage against Hody Jones, when you kill him, he does like 20,000 or like 20 to 25,000 death hit. So if you're taking a lot of poison damage prior to reaching the boss stage, that's obviously a really, really bad thing. Now, in this circumstance here, we are using the Burning Going Merry ship, which isn't going to be available all the time, but it does have a healing special. But this just means that, you know, if you run that support character, you won't have to worry about tanking too much damage, which is really, really good. So once again, we are using Shanks' crew on the team as a sub because his switch ability is so good. In a lot of instances, you can get through boss stages just with his switch ability alone, which is amazing. You know, I don't mean like final boss stages, but I mean like, you know, the mini boss stages, as you guys would have just seen a little earlier against Hyozo. It's so useful to have. Plus, the multi-turn 3.5 chain lock is unfathomable. So powerful to have. We are using CatDog on this team as well for multi-turn boosts, because turn 1, when we activate his special, we get a 1.75 attack and color affinity to Cerebral, which on this team, everyone is Cerebral except for Usohachi, so that's great, right? And then, of course, when we hit 2 perfects, we get the 2.25 orb boost in the following turn, which is going to be enough damage multipliers and damage output to obviously kill him after the revive, because Hody turns into quick after he revives, which is actually kind of scary, because this team, obviously being strength and size, it's going to struggle to deal a lot of damage against quick enemies. So luckily there's no normal attacks only, because normal attacks only would kind of hurt this team a lot because of the health cuts that are on this team, but it's nice that that's not going to be a thing, because this particular Coliseum came out with the release of Legend Kaido, so it wouldn't make much sense if they, you know, release a bunch of content around Legend Kaido and have normal attacks only, so kind of makes sense. But either way, we see Mihawk and Perona absolutely wiping the floor with Coliseum Hody Jones. So I'll leave you guys with the rest of this clip, and then we'll go ahead and talk about the final team against the final piece of content for this showcase video. So the final clip in this video is against the Whitebeard Garp challenge. Now we are building a Psy and Cerebral team, and of course, because we are building Psy and Cerebral, Shanks' crew is going to be that guy as a sub once again. We are also using the Treasure Map Vivi. Now, Treasure Map Vivi isn't a very good choice for Mihawk and Perona teams, because even though they are an attack booster, which is great, she also changes adjacent orbs into recovery, which is actually a pretty bad thing. Because even though they are going to be treated as beneficial with the Zunisha ship, the thing about it is when you're using Mihawk and Perona, you want to be getting type slots. You don't want recovery or tandem slots, because you do get a lower multiplier when you are using them as a captain, specifically with Mihawk as a captain, because you only get a 3 times boost instead. But either way, it is nice to get, you know, a 1.75 attack boost instead of the 1.5 that Shanks' crew would normally give you, because against the Ezo stage, I feel like the Ezo stage is the most difficult stage in the entire Whitebeard challenge, and I feel like if your team is prepped correctly and you do get past the Ezo stage, you're basically home free, in my opinion anyway, from what I found through playing a lot of this Garp challenge. And one thing that's interesting about this team is when we get to this stage with the Ezo, the Fossa is on a 2-turn cooldown. So at this point, I basically thought my run was done for. And by the way, I've been doing like all these recordings for these for the showcase video, and I basically used up all my Mihawk and Perona friend captains. So the friend captain I have here is not rainbowed out. So when we actually get to the final boss stage, my friend captain is unable to remove the slot bind that's inflicted. So that kind of sucked, and I thought, you know, I maybe wasn't going to have enough damage output, but spoiler alert, we are able to kill him, which is great. But yeah, this stage was extremely stressful because I saw that Fossa and I'm like, I gotta kill Fossa. If I don't kill Fossa, I like will 100% die. He just does way too much damage. So I did focus on my damage here. I think I switched into double Mihawk as my captain for the higher multiplier, you know, with the type orbs. But even still, I just had enough damage to kill him, which was great. We did take a little bit of damage from Izo, but remember, the switching ability of Mihawk and Perona giving you 1500 heal per turn. So ultimately being 4,000 with the double switch and the auto heal is so good. They do have their really good health boost as well as, you know, the 1.3 health boost. So double 1.3 health boost with the ship's health boost as well. There's no damage reduction on this unit, but I mainly prioritize damage reduction sockets anyway. So all in all, this character is enabling you to be relatively tanky. You know, you could run the Megalo ship, but it's a little risky because when you switch your own captain into Mihawk, you basically don't get a ship multiplier, which is not good. I think your captain has to be Psi or Int in order to get the attack boost of that ship, because it does give you the 10% damage reduction, which obviously would be the most ideal ship to run. But, you know, when you switch your captain into Mihawk, it's not really going to be the most optimal ship to run, unfortunately. But honestly, the Megalo ship is honestly like my favorite ship in the game right now. It's so freaking powerful. As for the other units on this team though, we are running the special limited time Viola right here, because she actually removes 5 turns of blue and rainbow shield, as well as gives our cerebral characters a color affinity boost. But obviously on this stage specifically, it doesn't matter. It doesn't actually give us any boost. She's basically just there as the utility unit. And then we do get the special ability off with Mihawk and Perona here, which is great. And then the final unit here is Christmas Nami, because she's just a fantastic utility unit that basically gets around every piece of debuff that gets inflicted on this particular treasure map, well, not treasure map, sorry, Garb challenge, which is good. But either way, that is going to wrap up the showcase video of Mihawk and Perona. Do I like the character? Yeah, I think this character is pretty cool, though they're not my favorite captain to use in the game. I'm personally not a huge fan of dual units, honestly, these days, and the main reason why that is because I don't like the fact that dual units have such a weakened captain effect, you know, in their base form. Obviously, when they combine, they're freaking amazing, and I know dual units have amazing switch abilities, but personally speaking, I much prefer captains that don't have the dual unit mechanic, because I'd much rather use them as a sub, have a really powerful captain effect all the time, and I feel like that's a lot easier to play through content, and why I like V3 Law so much in this current point in time. V3 Law's hands down my favorite legend in the game right now, and his captain ability is just so good all the time. Damage reduction, healing, great clasp that he boosts, amazing special that partners with that as well. I know on JP the multipliers are much higher than what V3 Law is able to provide, so V3 Law isn't like the most optimal captain on JP, but on global right now, yeah, V3 Law is probably top 3 in the game, hands down, no problem. But anyways, enough of that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video today, and if you guys did, make sure to leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.